Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake, and I'm here with Kelsey McEwen and Teddy Wilson. Welcome to CTV Your Morning, the podcast.
This week on the podcast, we take a look at the pros and cons of gentle parenting.
And as if, we explore the cultural impact Clueless has had on audiences for the past 30 years with author and professor Veronica Litt.
We love having you join us today, and we'd love for you to join us live every weekday, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 to 10 a.m. Atlantic on CTV CTV News Channel, and on your CTV News app.
If you tuned into the radio at all in 2014, you definitely heard this song once or twice.
You're just a chance I take to keep on dreaming. You're just another day that keeps me breathing.
Yeah, that's Hideaway by Kiesza. It's remained a hit and a fan favorite since its release more than 10 years ago. And now the Canadian singer-songwriter has come out with her latest collection of songs, Dancing and Crying Volume 2, and is kicking off a North American tour next week. The award-winning artist Kiesza joins me in studio this morning with more. Great to have you.
Great to be here.
So,
I think I was here during the pandemic. It's been a
Pandemic.
while.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Last time you were on the show, it was in 2020. It was the height of the pandemic. You were still in recovery from a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today?
I'm doing a lot better. That's actually what kicked off Dancing and Crying. I wasn't able to go into dance venues for years because of the bright lights and the loud music. And I started turning a corner and I got ahead of myself. I was like, I think in a couple of years I should be good. So I started writing the dance music ahead of time. And that's what kicked off Dancing and Crying. It's it's like a overload of dance music.
That's amazing.
That's why there's multiple volumes as well. So
That's
we're into
awesome.
volume 2 now.
So as an artist, what was that like for you to not be able to be where I guess your heart would be?
Well, it's kind of it's insane because, like, my heart really is in the songwriting in the studio, which I could do, but I couldn't share it with anyone, and I couldn't go to the venues that's where I meet with my fans. That's where I share the energy, and especially being known for dance music, it was really the end of my career for a while as a dance artist, and I started pivoting. I went to my second album, Crave, which really wasn't a dance album. And I was even thinking of going more acoustic, but then that's why you hear in Dancing and Crying Volume 1, you hear the acoustic blend with dance music. It was from me in this middle stage, not knowing where things are going, and that influenced that. And so Dancing and Crying is just full of like throwing different genres into dance music.
I love
mixing it up.
Yeah, so let's talk about your new music, Dancing and Crying Volume 2. Volume 1 came out last year, and we have a clip of one of your songs on the album at your Toronto Pride performance. Take a look. You see everyone in the studio right now bobbing their heads. You described this as a female-driven underground house vibe. What does that mean for you?
For me, the underground house scene was where I came up in New York. Like when I was having a bad day or a bad week, I would just go out and dance, and sometimes by myself. Literally, just it made me feel better. And I fell in love with house music in New York, and that's when I started doing it. I was honestly I'm from Calgary, so I was doing like folk music before I got into dance music, and New York really changed that for me. Now I'm obsessed with house, so I'm so happy to be back into the house scene. And this song was produced with Jess Cake, my producer of Dancing and Crying, but also Sammy Virgie, who is like a rising house legend right now. So I'm so honored to have had the opportunity to work with him on that song that you heard, Stays in Bed. And that kind of launched the vibe for Dancing and Crying Volume 2 because it was so sexy. And I was like, you know what? I haven't been feeling my sexy energy for a while. It's all just been recovery and trying to just get things back to where they were and just grinding all the time. And I was like, I think I can just like put on a nice corset and, just some nice lipstick, blue lipstick, and just, feel my sexy self for a bit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and I leaned into that for this album. So it's a sexy volume, I will say. We have Peaches on it.
Oh my gosh.
Local icon or Canadian. So.
That's amazing. You described yourself as a songwriter and you started out in the industry as a songwriter. So you go between these genres, and you mentioned the blending that you've had within your albums. This one, you wanted to keep it consistent throughout. So why was that important to you to go back to the dance, to go back to your roots?
I think for me, dancing is a healing it's something I use to heal just as much as, actually dancing and crying, I came up with the title because when I couldn't dance anymore, I actually found I got the same relief that I did from dancing when I had a really good cry. And so crying was sort of the replacement for dancing for a very long time. And I was going between this battle of trying to get back to the dance floor again. I grew up dancing. I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. So it's been my whole life, and suddenly I wasn't able to do it. I couldn't even do choreography because of my head injury. So it was just this kind of inner battle with myself as well. Dancing just means a lot to me. And I actually learned a really cool fact that of any antidepressant in the world, any medication or anything, dancing is the most effective. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so it's actually so healing to dance, and I want to encourage people to get out and dance.
So my parents, who may be watching, hi Mom and Dad, shout out, wonderful people.
What are their names other than Mom and Dad?
Bruce and Dina.
Good morning, Bruce and Dina.
Good morning. Wonderful people, obviously very patient and long-suffering. We don't text. We're solely like a telephone call
Wow.
and email. I text with my brother, but not with Mom and Dad. So I've never encountered this specifically from one of my parents, but I have encountered it from a loved one, and that is when you get a text from somebody whose well-being you really care about that just says, call me. Roll it.
Oh, God.
Of all the parent texts, call me, that's the scariest. Because the spectrum of what this could be about is literally infinity. There's no limit. It could mean that someone has an actual disease, like someone is really sick. And then that someone could be like my dad, or it could be some random person my mom came in contact with on Facebook that I haven't heard about in 30 years. Or it could be that she saw a pair of shoes that she thought I would like, and she's asking what size I am in those shoes. So this, and now I have to like ring, she doesn't pick up, I'm gonna get a call me again. And then I'm gonna say, what is it about? She'll say, call me. So now we're 3 call me's in with a call that wasn't answered. And why do we have anxiety? Why? Maybe this is it. This will be studied.
Maybe this is it. Do your
Of all the
folks or
parent
your kids
texts,
ever do this
call
to you?
me.
Call me? Because it really does elicit the full spectrum of possibility.
No, we'll do the call me to them. They'll call me from my mom. So my dad doesn't text, but my mom does,
Yeah.
and we have a chat with my sisters and my mom. And it's just if she doesn't want to have to type it all out.
Right,
But
okay.
what is fun is going through this thread about like when mom is making a decision on something, and I know she's watching. Good morning, Muriel.
Muriel.
So she's right now trying to decide on a photo, like a picture for over her sofa, and it has to be a large piece of art. So
Yeah.
she will send us pictures, and we're like, Mom, that's terrible. Or like, hey, that's good, you should order it.
Yeah. You get call me
But they're
text?
in that generation where it
Yeah.
will not be about health, because I swear my mom works for MI6. The minute you want to ask her about anything health related, just shuts down.
Really?
And she's laughing because she knows it's true. We're like, Mom, her response always is, why do you want to know?
Why do you?
Because you're my mom and I care about you. She's like,
And if you ask her if she works for MI6, she'll say no, because that's exactly what a spy would say. Do you ever get
Exactly.
these just call me texts with 2 words? Very alarming. Very alarming.
Very alarming. For me, the more alarming one is just the straight up phone call.
Just the call out of the blue.
oh, out of the blue.
Yeah, out of the blue, but also at weird times. Because I've worked this shift for a really long time, so my parents know like typically when I'm in the car. So if
Right.
the phone rings, then it's like, oh, they knew I was in the car,
Yeah.
and so I'm driving, and we'll chit chat. But if I get a phone call at like 6 p.m. our time or like 8 p.m. our time, then I start to panic. Like instantly, we'll
Right.
start to
Oh,
panic.
yeah. Same. Same.
And sometimes it is like panicable, the information you receive, and then sometimes it's just like, oh, I made a great marinade for steak.
Trivial.
And you're like, ah.
Say it's nothing bad. It's like when you get an email from your boss saying, can we talk? It's like,
worse.
please
But
say it's nothing bad.
Our bosses, and I just because I verbal vomit all the time, so our bosses know that they can't do that to me. Because I
You'll just
will
think about
get
it the whole
Oh, yeah.
time.
my email always says,
Yeah.
"Can you come see me after the show? It's not bad."
It's not bad.
Because they know I'm bad.
I love that. I love that.
AI is coming to the workplace and is proving to be more popular with men than women.
So what could that mean for the workplace of the future?
Lindsay spoke with tech expert Avery Swartz for more.
When it comes to using AI at work, men are just using it way more often than women. According to a recent Harvard study, women are reluctant to incorporate tools like ChatGPT into their workflow because of apparently ethical concerns. So what implications could that reluctance have on job opportunities and really pay for women? Joining us to unpack why this is happening and what that gender gap looks like is tech educator Avery Swartz. Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
This is such an important topic because when we look at the numbers, on average, women are adopting AI tools, and we showed that number on the screen, at a 25% lower rate than men.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's a really big problem that is pervasive literally around the world. This paper that was published in the Harvard Business Review was a synthesized look at 18 different studies, 140,000 people.
That's a lot.
Showing that across different industries, across different sectors, women are just generally adopting AI less. And the reason basically boils down to a confidence gap. So there's a few things going on here. Women are just less risky in the workforce in general because they are statistically more likely to be penalized or punished for taking a risk. A man using emerging technology is called innovative. A woman using emerging technology is cheating.
Interesting.
Right? Also, there's less opportunities for education in learning about how to use AI properly. And so women are a little bit more hesitant there as well. Men are more likely to just try it.
That's so fascinating, especially when you break it down like that. This is widening the gender gap. It is widening pay opportunities. So let's break that portion down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as time goes on and this gender gap is further exacerbated, what it means is that women are less likely to advance in their careers, which means that there will be further pay inequity. Also, Linz, here's the 1-2 punch. Not only are women using AI less on the job, women are 2 to 3 times more likely to be impacted by workforce disruption of AI because women are more likely to have jobs in administrative and clerical areas of a business, and that's what's being impacted by AI right now.
Yeah, let's talk specifics. So when we're talking about women using less AI, what are we talking ChatGPT?
Generative AI technology.
So
absolutely.
Things to help in sort of the administrative tasks.
Yep, everything from helping you rewrite an email to checking your spelling and grammar to doing a complete financial forecast using generative AI tools.
So if women continue to block AI and don't use it, what does that mean for the jobs? I mean, we talked about the fact that these administrative jobs could be gone. So we're going to see way more men in the workforce, and then where are the women going?
Right. I mean, eventually AI will touch every single job in every workforce, but the early impacts that we're seeing right now is that it is impacting jobs, again, in the clerical administrative space, jobs in writing, communications, healthcare, caring technology. Those are who are getting hit first.
Okay, so education, that's something that you've been touching on. So tell us about what you're working on at Camp Tech. To change this.
Yeah, so I've teamed up with my friends at my company, Camp Tech, also the Forum and Grow Class. We're working on a program called AI Skills Lab Canada. This is a national women-led, federally co-invested program that is training and supporting hundreds of women and non-binary entrepreneurs in AI adoption. And what we're doing is we're trying to address that confidence gap. We've created a safe space for women and non-binary people to learn AI, to support them as they are adopting it and bringing it into their business. We started this pilot just a few months ago, and we've already put a few hundred through the program, and it's working.
Really?
It's actually working. We have early success metrics that show that AI adoption is happening and people are growing their businesses. Because when women-led businesses thrive, Canada thrives.
100%. I can see your excitement in your eyes. This is fantastic. So congrats on all of the success.
Thanks.
If somebody's watching right now and they're very intimidated by this concept, you know, they've had their job for 25 years and they're like, okay, well, I don't want to try this out at work. Let me try it out at home.
Yes.
What are some baby steps?
Okay, so the very first thing is, honestly, to try it. Literally sign up for an account. Sign up for a ChatGPT account and just see what it does. Then seek out some early training, some foundational knowledge. And there's all kinds of stuff online. There's programs run by big tech companies like Microsoft and Google and ChatGPT's company, OpenAI. There's also a number of different programs in libraries, in community centers, local colleges. Many of them are free or very low cost. And this is something that I know is an imperative for the federal government. Prime Minister Carney put it in his mandate letter back in May that he wants to see Canada really embrace AI.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great. I would tell you, like, just start with a shopping list. host with your menu planning. That's a gateway in.
All right, 30 years later, and Clueless is still totally iconic.
It's more than just the fashion and the one-liners. It's created real cultural impact.
So much so, Teddy is channeling his Valley Girl. I love it.
I am.
Veronica Litt joined us here on the show to chat about her brand new book, As If, and why Cher Horowitz still matters.
Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
You know what? I would have been 4 when it came out, so I don't remember exactly when, but it feels like I've never lived in a world without Clueless, which is a pretty great world to live in.
So I just introduced our daughter, I think it was like 2 months ago, to this movie. I haven't seen it in, I mean, probably decades, right? And it was really fun to revisit. Now, I know that you argue that Cher, played by Alicia Silverstone, stands as an example of how every person can really change for the better and contribute to society. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, ultimately, I see this movie as a really optimistic and sweet film about unlikely people, the most unlikely person, managing to change for the better and do something good for her community. I think that I certainly appreciate that optimism, and that's the beating heart of the film.
Yeah, because you think it's going to go one way.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is that formula that has been in place in so many other films, but it really sort of takes a left turn in the best way possible. Why do you think this movie has been able to stand the test of time?
I think on the one hand, it's just such a great, strong script. Like Amy Heckerling really did something special with, there's a joke every 30 seconds, so much iconic dialogue, the outfits, the performances are so warm. So it's just a high quality product. But I also think that thematically, it's something that you want to return to because it imagines a better world than the one we have, and it almost test runs ways that we could maybe get there. It's a profoundly optimistic and hopeful film.
So how did you get to write this book? Meaning, where did you come up with this concept? What was that process like for you?
Well, I've always been really interested in popular culture, this sort of media that you take for granted as unsophisticated or unintelligent, as not needing attention. And I thought there was certainly more going on there. And I also am a big defender of an underdog, and girly art, I think, is one of these genres that just doesn't get the attention it deserves. It is sophisticated. It's not worse than movies that win Best Picture Oscars and are fancy. It's different.
What is girly art?
Girly art, things like romantic comedies, teen movies, TV shows like The Summer I Turned Pretty. This kind of girly art, you know, people tend to think of it as unsophisticated, but I would argue that it is profoundly interesting and thoughtful. The things that girly art considers are the things of day-to-day life, right? Communication, conflict resolution, relationships. Anyone who's been alive can tell you that is complex and interesting. And girly art takes those subjects really seriously.
And relatable, too,
And it makes them relatable. Yeah, it's art that is uniquely relevant to our day-to-day experience.
Right, exactly. What has the response been like to your book?
It's been really lovely. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to have you.
We had a screening in Hamilton, where I'm from, last night. That was just magical.
So you saw Clueless in the theater?
I did.
And you'd never seen it in the theater. What was that? How was that experience different than watching it at home?
First of all, you just realize all over again how beautiful Paul Rudd is. Like seeing those eyes on the big screen, wow, I can see why he became a star.
Yeah.
It was such a joyous experience. The crowd was amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of like the best nights of my life.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, it's so nice to hear that. Okay, so what's next for your research and writing?
Well, I research 18th century novels in my day job. So I'm working on a project about readers of popular novels. And I'm also thinking about developing a project on villains. And how villains shape viewers and readers' own senses of morality and ethics.
When you have time. I mean, you've
just
got
in my
so
spare
much
time.
You've got so much going on. Veronica Litt, great to have you in studio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Author and assistant professor of English at Cape Breton University. As If is out now.
This is CTV Your Morning, the podcast, where we share some of the fantastic conversation we've been having on the show. Join us live on CTV every weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 to 10 a.m. Atlantic, on CTV, CTV News Channel, and on your CTV News app.
How's your spending going this summer? Between vacations, eating out, weddings, sending kids to camp, this season can come with high expense. But the good news is there are a ton of perks that could save you hundreds of dollars. To give us the inside details, we have money expert Robin Thompson here in studio this morning. Great to have you back.
It's nice to see you.
Okay, so let's start with the workplace. I think lots of different workplaces have employee perks, but there are some that are specifically summer focused.
Yeah, so this is one of the areas that most people overlook. And when you look at your employee perks, they go into the online portal because there's so much available. These could be things like discounts with preferred vendors, so hotel discounts, discounts for cars, activities, tickets, concert tickets. The employee packages are significant when it comes to your employees. Also festivals or events, transit passes, gym memberships. I know some people that have taken the gym memberships and said, oh, I want to go try puppy yoga, or I want to do Tai Chi in the park, or what's local, what's available, how do I take advantage of my company perks? And you can save anywhere from $200 to $500 by using these strategically. Your employer is going to give them to you. You're already working and paying for them, so take advantage of everything they're going to give to you for free. It allows you to stretch that budget a little bit.
I know, and do it preemptively. Like, do it early, do it today when you're going into the office, because you never know when you're going to need them, and then it's sometimes hard to access from home, and so do it today. What about with your credit card? What kind of perks can come here?
This is a season where we're spending, right? Spending, 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 and if you're going to put money on the credit card, and of course you're going to pay it off at the end of each month, but you want to make sure you're taking advantage of all of the perks you can get from the credit card company as well. So sometimes they'll give you extra incentive in gas, groceries, travel. There's also cash back, so anywhere from 2 to 5%. Sometimes you can get cash back on the cards, which is also really important. Free check bags, you can get lounge access, room upgrades. And you can save anywhere between $100 or $300 if you strategically, even more, depending how much you're going on the weekends or how much you're traveling. So these really compound into significant amounts of money over periods of time. And it allows you to get some cash back at the end. You're like, I'll take cash back, please.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that this isn't like a huge lift
No, it's
on your
not
end.
a
It
huge
really
lift.
isn't.
No, it's just being like, understanding that these are out there for you to be able to use.
What about, I mean, we've had such a push in Canada this past year about really thinking local. So looking within your community, looking right around where you are, you say this is another good opportunity to save money.
It is brilliant, and it's one of the most overlooked things people don't look at. So communities, whether big or small, often offer things like tickets to museums, tickets to art galleries that may not be something you normally take a look at. Libraries are a goldmine. They have teen nights, they have tech teaching they have art stories, craft days. So using local libraries and your community recreational centers are going to give you a lot with no cost whatsoever. If you want to cool down, public pools and splash pads are also really great, $150 to $250 in savings. So cool down, use the splash pads, use the community for your summer holidays, because what you can get for free that you're paying for is actually really going to shock you. So take advantage of that. And if you can, download the apps and do the push notifications, and they'll give you last minute deals, last minute pop-ups, all free.
I love that. I think so often we get caught up in this idea that we have to spend a lot to create a moment. And then when you think back of your own childhood or your own life, the moments that stand out are the moments where you felt good. And that doesn't necessarily cost money. So if you go to these free events and you have a good time, that's what you're going to remember when you think back on the summer of 2025.
I used to climb trees, like, you know, do those little crafts with the pipe cleaners and the googly eyes. Like, it's not about spending the money. It's about having an amazing experience and not breaking the bank.
We also have tons of apps and websites that you can check out if you do want to find those extra deals and a little bit of extra money.
Yeah, and the apps, if you're not using them, you're likely leaving money on the table because there's so many good ones out there. A new one that I've actually just recently started to find is Too Good To Go, which is an app where you can save up to 70% off food prices from local restaurants, bakeries, and cafes. They have food they haven't used, and you can save up to 70%. So that is a really great way to save money and also reduce food waste. Flip is another great one. It's where you're going to see,
I love it.
like all the, you can see all the coupons, put them all together, see where you can save money over periods of time. It's going to give you savings on your household items. Make sure you're saving money where you can. I also love Rakuten, which is another one where you can log into. So this is a platform where you go onto it, you can buy from your retailers you love, whether it be a Walmart or whether it be, a Lululemon or an Indigo. And so when you do that, you're gonna buy from them. They're going to kick back a commission to Rakuten, and they're going to give you cash back. So you're getting cash back for things that you're already paying for every day. So you're not changing what you're spending money on. You're just spending it in a way where you're going to get more money back, you're going to get more money in free rewards, and you're just going to have a summer where at the end of it, you're not looking at your credit card saying,
what did we do?
What did we do?
I love that. Robin Thompson, thank you so much.
Oh, so great to see you as always.
You've probably heard of gentle parenting. It's a style of parenting that tunes into your kids' emotions.
But it is so much more than just about being gentle.
So Chantal Bisson, author of Raising Your Kids Without Losing Your Cool, explains why.
Thank you for wanting to have this conversation, because it is a hot potato.
It is
topic.
a hot potato. So let's just break it down.
Yeah.
Simply put, what is gentle parenting?
So gentle parenting is where a parent wants to hear their child out, relate to their feelings and their emotions and the situation that they're going through, and set them up for success by letting them go through the gamut of the emotion and the feelings and let that be forefront. And everybody takes a seat back and lets the child run with their emotions, and the parent just gently guides them.
Asking questions,
Asking
negotiating happening a lot of the time, or any negotiating?
Well, I don't think there's much negotiating going
Right.
on. I think
So
the fact is like, this is true, this is fact, this is reality, and we're going to just kind of go along behind you as you go through the process of your
Interesting.
emotions and your feelings.
So what issues do you see with this kind of gentle parenting?
Well, for me, the biggest issue is that it doesn't set children up for reality, what really is going on in the world. I mean, you know, when you go to school, for example, when a child goes to elementary school, you go out, you have recess, the bell rings, you go inside. When you're dealing with a child who's been a gentle parent, who's been allowed to drive the car and been allowed to decide when they come back inside after, you know, when they're done, when they're good and they're ready, you know, what's gonna happen in reality when a teacher has 35 children being gentle parented? You know what I mean?
Oh my
Like there's gonna
gosh.
be utter, complete chaos where the children are all running the show. So I think that's the biggest thing, is it doesn't set them up for the way the world really works.
Right, right. And how do you sort of balance respecting a child's feelings while also setting those boundaries?
Well, I would say, you know, most of us parents are out there, you know, the biggest thing is parents need to stop operating from a place of fear. I think a lot of times we're afraid we're gonna screw up.
Totally.
We're gonna mess them up.
I don't want to mess them up.
You don't want to mess them up.
No.
You don't want to mess them up. And then there's the other side of it is like, I just don't want to be raised the way I was raised, which I have the question for you. It's like, well, what's so wrong with you that you don't want to be, you don't want your children to be raised and turn out the way you turned out? So I think we've got a lot of like our own emotional baggage that we carry forward in our parenting that we're putting onto our children, and we're operating from fear, and we're also like, I just don't want to, rather than trusting our instincts and being like, you know, intuitively we know our children, you know, and we know what they need. And I think if we just would like zoom out a little bit and like look at them as their own people and look at like what was successful and how we were raised, and taking that and putting it all together and putting that onto the child. So when you gentle parent, how I think we did it, which we did was we did a lot of traditional.
You have 3 children.
We
You
have 3
girls,
children,
yep.
and we did a hybrid of traditional and a hybrid of gentle parenting. We listened when they needed to share their feelings, but we also educated them on that, like, well, your feelings are fleeting.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel like this in 30 minutes or an hour.
We don't need to sit in that.
You don't need to.
Can I give you some
sit in that.
scenarios?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
I think so.
Ready? You're at the park. You tell your son it's time to leave. He has a meltdown and says, no. How would a gentle parent respond?
Well, a gentle parent would probably sit down and let them just continue playing at the park until the child comes over to them and says, I'm ready to go.
What? Really? Then how do you
Yes.
suggest handling that?
You know, my suggestion is this. I think that we also need to understand that kids understand a lot more than we think they do. So if you have a child who you've been gentle parenting and you want to transition out of that, like you're done with being at the park for 3 hours,
Yes.
you've got things to do. When you're getting ready for the park, that's the time to have the conversation. We are going to the park. This is how much time we have. And relate it back to something that the child knows. Like if they know that their bath takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
I've learned they don't know time.
They don't know time.
No, when I'm like 5 minutes till bedtime and then I come in a minute later, they have no idea.
Yeah.
Until they get to a certain age. Can I give you another scenario?
Yes.
Okay, your daughter refuses to eat dinner. She wants something else. She has a screaming fit. What would a gentle parent do?
Well, gentle parents would probably allow that child to get up from the table and go do whatever they were doing prior to having to sit down to dinner and let the child be in charge.
Right. What do you suggest we do?
I suggest if you have a child who has, you've been in the gentle parenting like vortex.
Vortex, yeah.
Start by inviting the child to prepare dinner. You know, let's go to the fridge. Let's make dinner. Help mommy make dinner. Help daddy make dinner. Get them involved, because there's a sense of, we all are the same. There's a sense of pride and accomplishment. Like when a child is participating in something, they're gonna want to see it through to the end. And seeing it through to the end is eating it. So get the child involved in the dinner process and the lunch process and the food process right from the get-go. And then they'll be excited. It won't be like, they're doing something against their will. It's something that they've created and they've been a part of.
All right, my friends, since 1995, Honey Jam has been supporting generations of young, emerging female musicians in Canada. The multicultural, multi-genre artist development program has catapulted the careers of artists including Nelly Furtado, Julie Black, Havaya Mighty, Melanie Fiona, and that is just to name a very few. There have been so many amazing artists to come out of this program. And now Honey Jam will host a 30th anniversary concert, July 30th at Massey Hall, featuring a night of performances by alumni of the program, singing songs from icons who have influenced their artistry. I'm really honored to be joined by founder and executive director of Honey Jam, Ebony Rowe. How are you?
I'm great and tired too.
Are you? Cool. All right. Well, I'm tired as well, but I'm really excited because I've seen you interviewed over the years. I've been very aware of Honey Jam, as I think many Canadians, especially those of us interested in the arts, culture, and music have been. And so, first off, congratulations on the 30th anniversary of Honey Jam.
Thank you so much.
Must feel amazing, but also congrats to you. You were inducted to the Order of Canada back in April. What was that like, Ebony, like to be honored in that way for everything you've brought to the arts and culture in the country?
Shocking and unexpected.
Yeah?
Wonderful and amazing. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. I actually received the notification, back in April, and then the official announcement was made on June 30th. So the 30th day of our 30th anniversary, and on the same day as our party, we had an anniversary party.
Oh, that's so
that's
cool.
the universe saying yes.
And now you've got the big 30th anniversary show, Massey Hall, July 30th. I'm wondering, though, if we can go back to 1995 when you started Honey Jam. And I know I've read interviews with you before where you said, listen, I started this because there was a lack of support for emerging female artists in Canada. Can you take us back to that time and talk about the need for Honey Jam then?
So it started by accident. It was the wrap party of an all-female issue of a magazine that I edited talking about misogyny in hip-hop. And we had the wrap party, called it Honey Jam, and then people loved it, and we decided to continue doing it. So it evolved. We're making it up as we go along. At the time, there was the misogyny in hip-hop that we were addressing, and there just weren't the platforms or the opportunities for emerging artists. Also remember, before the internet, there's no YouTube, you can't have an Instagram page, and so there weren't the opportunities to be seen and heard on a wide scale like there are now.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to provide that platform, but also a safe space for women, removing that casting couch mentality and providing knowledge and expertise from industry reps who would just want them to win. There's no untoward reason for them to be involved. And that's how it evolved.
So that was 1995. Can you talk about how things have changed and maybe what still needs to be done, especially for Indigenous women and women of color coming up in the music business? Like, have we come a long way, or is there still a lot of ground to cover?
I think we've come a long way in terms of what can happen DIY, right? So back then, so right now, anyone can be a producer, right? A trial producer. Once you have a laptop, and you have the software.
That barrier for entry technologically.
Exactly. Yeah. So back then, you would have to find a producer. 99.9% of them were male. They might be charging thousands of dollars. You don't have that money. You might be coerced to doing things that you wouldn't be a good thing to do. You might feel that pressure. And so that's been a huge change just with the technology, with the ability to promote yourself worldwide, with the awareness also of different genres of music, different cultures of music. There's all kinds of radio stations and platforms that are dedicated to different styles of music. So there could definitely be more done, but my gosh, the difference between 1995 and now is a complete turnaround. Yeah. There are more women in positions of leadership. Not as many as there ought to be, but there are more female musicians and people who are making the decisions that it's now in their minds to know that we need to have a level playing field, that everybody needs to be given an opportunity and having a meritocracy.
Yep.
There's so many good shows coming out this summer, of
Yeah.
which I'm so relieved. But when a good show has to come to an end, you sometimes wish you could watch it over again for the very first time without remembering whatever happened, like this.
What's the name of a show that you watched and you wished you'd never seen so you could watch it all over again? Mine is Eastbound and Down. If I could just start from scratch, I'd be so happy.
So this creator choosing the HBO comedy series Eastbound and Down, I don't know this one, but it follows a former baseball star who then becomes a gym teacher. So we were curious, is there a show that you really love that you could wish you could just watch over for the first time? Mine would be Succession.
Succession?
I love
Yeah?
Succession, yeah. And there's rarely a show that you like, oh, you just wish that you would come out again.
Yeah.
This is it.
But it's
I mean,
back
I'm
there.
glad they ended it when they did and how they did.
Okay.
But man, I loved this show.
And were you satisfied with how it ended?
Yeah,
Because when
I
you
liked
love
it.
a show and it ends well, that's icing on the cake.
No, I thought it was great.
Cool, yeah.
No, it's such a fun feeling when a show that you've loved, someone else is starting for the first time.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ted Lasso for me
Oh, yeah,
was
that's a good
that
one.
because our executive producer Jen loved this show so much, and I was hesitant. I'm always hesitant to watch shows that are really popular.
Or that people from work recommend.
Yeah, well, because Anne-Marie has recommended several things to me that just give me like chronic anxiety, so I can't watch anything.
I'm sure
she
I've stopped recommending shows to you.
But this one Jen loved so much, and I was like, I'm not gonna love a soccer show, and then I loved it.
so good.
And I was very satisfied with how this one ended.
Good.
The new season coming out, I'm a little nervous about because
Yeah.
there's been some casting rumors.
Right.
Anyway,
And like all great shows, it's not necessarily just about its subject matter. Like, it's not
oh
just
God,
about soccer.
this isn't about soccer
It's
at
amazing.
all. It's about
Yeah.
everything
It's
else.
really good.
The one for me that I was not satisfied with the ending, but I wish I could go back and start it again, was Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones, and I loved it because we watched it when I was on maternity leave with my oldest, and so it was the first show I'd ever like binge watched.
Oh, wow.
Because on this shift, it's really hard to binge watch things
Right.
because I like binge watch for 20 minutes and then I fall asleep. So I loved this show so much. And then my last show was the palate cleanser to Game of Thrones, was Downton Abbey. I love this show, and sometimes it's been long enough that I can go back and rewatch the beginning, and I see things that I haven't seen before. I love that new discovery.
I love the idea of watching a show and then bouncing to like a different thematic pole, as like you said, like a palate cleanser. I like that.
You
That's
need
cool.
to. Well, like the funny part about bouncing between Game of Thrones and Downton Abbey though was that when we were watching Downton Abbey, Jay would be like, "She's gonna die. Someone's gonna come in. Someone's gonna get her," and I was like. No,
It's
in
Downton
fact,
Abbey.
it's just they're gonna go for tea.
It's not Game of Thrones.
Nobody's had
There's
this-
intrigue, but there's no dire wolves.
Not really.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
yeah.
I still don't understand how I can recommend like Succession and you're like, there's too many bad people, but you watched regularly Game of Thrones where everybody gets murdered viciously.
Because that was
That's all right.
so ridiculously not real.
Oh, I see.
Whereas Succession, I know those people, and I know
Right.
that manipulation and that like that seediness that you can see.
Right.
That's like scheming, and that stresses me out. Nope. It's the
best
It
What are
hits
your
too
picks,
close.
Teddy?
Oh, for me, the American version, I love the British Office, but the American version of The Office is like a bit of
good
a,
one.
it's a comfort blanket for me. This is a show I'll just put on for the heck of it at any point. I've seen every episode multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's just,
That's a good choice.
I kind of find it comforting. I really like it. And for me as well, my number one show of all time is the original Twilight Zone. It ran from 59, there's a great episode there, 59 to 64 for 5 seasons. And it is so, even though it was done in the late 50s, early 60s,
What is happening
its
here?
themes are prescient. This is about a worker who gets locked in the department store where she works. But there are themes that like relate to politics and society and culture today. It's a really, really amazing show. And I really want to go to Binghamton, New York. I think we have a picture of the statue of Rod Serling, who created Twilight Zone, in his hometown. You can go visit it. So I'm going to try to go in the next couple of years and check out that statue, and also pay a visit to Scranton, Pennsylvania on the way, where
that would be a lot
the
of
U.S. office is set.
Those were all really good choices.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Don't forget to download or hit subscribe to CTV Your Morning, the podcast, wherever you're listening to us right now.
And you can always join us live every weekday morning on CTV, CTV News Channel, or on your CTV News app. Start your morning with us.